Is it Leviathan or Blood Mountain or Crack the Sky? No, not at all. But that doesn't make it bad. Welcome, welcome, welcome to an album review. The first one I've done in quite a while. I'm doing it a bit differently today as well because I've not prepared for this in any way whatsoever. I just decided that there was no way that I couldn't talk about the new Mastodon album. Now, I was going to do a review for this at the weekend, but there are several reasons why I didn't. The main reason being I didn't actually get to hear the album for the first time until Friday evening, and this is a double album and 15 songs and an hour and a half's worth of music. So there's a lot to digest here, but I think it's worth talking about. I've seen a lot of reviews, a lot of negative reviews, and I can't help feeling that people have kind of judged it off of one listen, maybe. Because I'm not going to lie, when I first heard this, I wasn't that blown away by it. In fact, I'd have probably given it a 4 out of 10. I was pretty bored by it, in all honesty. I listened to it from start to finish. But there were moments in the album that kept me hooked. The singles definitely stood out more in the context of the album. But I did find on subsequent listens that this one grew on me more and more. In fact, every single time I've listened to this album, I've gotten into it more than the last time. There's something I take away more and more with each listen. At the moment, I'd say it probably stands at around a 7 out of 10 for me. Still room for improvement, but I mean, it's getting better and better. I mean, let's go through some of the songs. Starts out with Pain with an Anchor. Great start. Fantastic start to the album. I found a lot of the songs on this album had a kind of Cold Dark Place vibe to them. You know, the EP that they released in 2018, was it? I remember Brent saying at the time how he'd written like an album's worth of material. I can't help wondering how much of that material has actually made it onto this album, because a lot of it does sound like it could have quite easily been a continuation of that EP. We get elements of that on this opening song, and then but we also get some sludgy goodness, some more old school Mastodon sludginess. That's another thing I've heard a lot of people talking about, even though they've been kind of disappointed with it. There's a lot of that, you know, there's some of the heavier riffs that they've written in quite a while are on this, and they definitely feature on this song. The first half of it is kind of, like I said, more like a Cold Dark Place EP, and then the second half goes into this much more sludgy kind of stuff. As I'm speaking of sludge as well, a band that I reviewed a couple of years back, an unsigned band called Corrosia from Vienna, I believe, they've just released their second album, A Call to Love, and I highly recommend that you go check that out. And if I get chat, maybe I'll do some reaction stuff to it, actually, because I'm doing a lot of reactions at the moment. But anyway, next we go into the Crux. I could have almost seen this one being on The Hunter. Troy going, I feel pressure. Not like that. Yeah, a lot of what's going on in the background, a lot of the stuff that's sort of hidden in the mix, kind of remind me a lot of what we could have gotten off The Hunter. I really enjoyed this song. Sickle and Peace. This one was very reminiscent of some of the stuff from Cold Dark Place EP. I actually did a reaction to this, and unfortunately the video got blocked, which was a shame. This one I enjoyed a lot. I remember this was another one where the first time I listened to it, I wasn't that bothered by it. The more I've heard it, the more I've gotten into this one. This is a fantastic song. More Than I Could Chew. This has got a really nice fat heavy riff on it. This is another one that I could have seen on The Hunter. It's got quite a spaced out vibe, that, which isn't this whole album, which is not uncommon for Mastodon. But yeah, there's definitely a spacey vibe, an ethereal. Of course, this album is dedicated, and a lot of it's written about their ex-manager and good friend Nick John, who sadly passed away in 2018, I think it was. So I guess that accounts for that kind of, it's got an air about it of remembering, I guess. It's got a melancholic remembrance to it. Is that even a thing? Next up we have The Beast, and this one is very much a continuation of Pendulous Skin from Blood Mountain. This has got Brent Hinds written all over it. It's got his trademark chicken picking guitar licks that only he seems to be able to do. It's like he's just got a complete guitar style of his own. His singing on it as well is very reminiscent of that song. Skeleton of Splendor. This is another very sort of melancholic one. Troy singing To My Detriment. Another one that gets better with every listen. There's kind of a common theme with all of these songs. None of them really normally with a Mastodon songs, there's a lot of dynamics, whereas a lot of these songs kind of blend into one another, but the more you explore them, the better they get. Up next is Teardrinker, their second single. This one's grown on me a whole lot. The choruses in this one are just glorious. What else have we got? We've got Pushing the Tides, and I think that's the end of the first side of the album. Pushing the Tides, of course, the first single. This one's great now. I was completely underwhelmed when I first heard this, but in the context of the album, it just works so well. It helps listening to this as two separate sides, maybe, because it is so much to digest in one go. I mean, disc one is pretty much awesome. It really is a great disc. But we're not going to stop there. We're going to start off with Peace and Tranquility. I'm just playing these to remind myself what they are as I'm going along. Yeah, this is probably the most blissed out sort of proggy one. The riff in this is just spot on. The guitar work is just all over the place on this one. Brent Hinds, I have to say right now, some of his leads on this album are some of the best he's ever done. They truly are. And what I think about it as well, I mean, the whole band is on top form, I think. But I think one of the things that put me off about this album, maybe initially, it kind of felt like Bron was singing far too much on it. There wasn't enough of the other guys. Troy appears on it quite a lot. There's not a great deal of Brent on here with the vocals. I really enjoy the interplay between all three of them. And initially I thought, is this another one with Bron singing? But it does work. You know, a lot of the songs really, you know, the style of the songs, they do kind of work with Bron singing on them. The Dagger, decent enough song, but it kind of, this is kind of the point, I think, where it kind of, things start to kind of blend into each other a bit more. I will say as well that I've listened to disc one far more than I've listened to disc two, so maybe that's why disc one has really grown on me that much. Nothing bad on disc two, but again, this is where maybe a bit of editing could have come into play. I'm not even looking at you now. Arrogant. Had It All, another very tranquil kind of ballad type one. There was touches of Alice in Chains in this one, I found. Not a bad song, but nothing that really grabbed me. Savage Lands comes in there and brings the tempo up a little bit more, some proper riffage in this one, a little bit faster, a little bit you know, a little bit earthier. Gobblers of Dregs, I've realised that I'm kind of maybe, I can't really remember too much about this one. That's not a good thing, is it? Especially in the review. Eyes of Serpents, I think, is a perfectly good song, kind of builds and builds, but it brings us into the final song on the album, Gigantium, and this song is the song on the album. This is absolutely glorious, this song. I've just been playing the album on Spotify for the time being, and I've noticed that the play count on this song is the least on the album, which is understandable. It's the very last song. It's the best song. The fan's kicking in on my laptop. I've got two, you know. Gigantium is the song. It's such a glorious song, man. It's just amazing. The first half, it has this real droning kind of quality. And this is, I guess this one is completely dedicated to Nick John. The song really takes off at the halfway point. It just goes off into this, oh my God. This one really gets you. This one really gets you. Well, it got me anyway. If it doesn't get you, then, you know, get out of my face. My love so strong, washing the dirt away as the snakes all go to their holes. My love so strong, bathing in the turpentine until the flesh and bone come undone. My love so strong, deflecting the thoughts of strangers to reach the other side. My love so strong, the mountains we made in the distance, those will stay with us. Yeah, I can't say enough about this song. This is one of those ones I can't help but listen to on repeat. You know, I get to the end of the song and I just want to hear it again. Brent Hinds' solo at the end of this is masterful. This is truly Brent at his best. And there's a lot to enjoy in this album. I still can't by any means say that I've completely gotten into it, because I haven't. But as I said at the beginning, probably a 4 out of 5 I would have given this to start with, and now I'm probably comfortably around a 7. I strongly believe that once I absorb more of side 2, that this could even possibly be an 8 or a 9. Don't write Mastodon off, man. They've never done a bad album, and I don't think they have with Hushed and Grim either. There's so much to enjoy in this. Every time I listen to it, it gets better. Every single time. The artwork's fantastic as well. It's just amazing. There's a lot to absorb here. I think that's why it's been kind of getting mixed reviews. It's too much to, you know, it's a lot to take in one go. But I personally think it's worth it, and I just love Mastodon, and they haven't steered me wrong yet. Is it Leviathan or Blood Mountain or Crack the Sky? No, not at all. But that doesn't make it bad, you know. They, like us, have grown. You know, they've changed. They've been through different things like we all have. And I don't know, man, if they were doing those same albums as that, maybe I wouldn't be listening to them anymore even. I don't know, because I don't know if they'd be of the quality of that they did anyway. So I like the idea that they're moving on and doing other things, you know. Because they're hopefully going to be one of those bands that carry on into a ripe old age, because they've got that kind of vibe about them where they're just going to write about what's going on with them at the time. They don't cater to anyone, and I love bands like that. I love anyone who does that. You know, it takes a lot of balls to stick to your story and do what you do. So, Mastodon, Hushed and Grim. Although I'm only giving it 7 out of 10 at the moment, I still highly recommend it, and I think this one's going to get better with age. For those of you who haven't been watching in a little while, I have been doing pretty much reaction videos lately where I've been exploring bands from Japan, Indonesia. I've just done some stuff for The Warning from Mexico. In fact, I'm going to do a video for those in a second. And I've really been enjoying it. There's no, I've got no excuses for doing it other than the fact that it's nice to hear some new music, and yeah, if you're into that, cool. I'm going to head off. Mastodon, Hushed and Grim. No need for me to say it like that. I'll catch you later, boys and girls. Let's be honest, not many women are watching. They never did. I don't blame them. Signing out. Off.